So it's likely that you'll already know this fashion news, but a few weeks ago in Paris, the original Jane Birkin prototype bag sold at auction for 8.6 million euros, and this makes it the second highest or the second most valuable fashion item to ever be sold at auction. And this sale and this news has really got me thinking about Jane Birkin's influence on fashion, and specifically it's got me thinking about Gen Z's just ongoing obsession with her. And if you don't know, Jane Birkin is known for a lot of things. So she's known for her music, her films, her very public relationship, and of course she is known for the Hermes bag, which is still named after her. But really I'm just really interested in Gen Z's obsession with her, because she's really become in recent years more of an aesthetic and a vibe, and she really is the centerpiece of digital mood boards and Instagram archives. And to be honest, Gen Z's obsession with Jane Birkin just only makes me want to dive into why this ongoing influence that she has in fashion only seems to be snowballing rather than slowing down. And of course there are some other figures from the past who also have this same degree of influence. So if you think of Caroline Bessette Kennedy as well, she is yet another centerpiece of digital mood boards and archives, and people in 2025 are just still so obsessed with replicating this style and this aura. And with so much content out there about finding your personal style or dressing better, it really made me wonder what exactly we can learn from these enduring fashion it girls, and what makes their styles so magnetic, and how we can apply all of this to our own wardrobes. So hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've watched before. So as I have mentioned, and as you'll have seen from the title of this video, today we are delving into the topic of fashion it girls. And like I said, this video was really inspired by the recent Jane Birkin bag sale, but I'm gonna go into fashion figures from the past, but also more recent internet it girls, and really dissect what they're getting right in terms of their personal style and sort of what they all have in common. And by doing that, hopefully we'll get some takeaways about what we can bring into our own style and our wardrobes, and hopefully just get a few good tips on leveling up our personal style. So that is what I want to dive into today and what we're going to talk about. So to start with some of the OG style icons, if you just think about Jane Birkin's straw basket and messy bangs, or Caroline Bessette Kennedy's neutral tones and low buns, or even Alexa Chung's muddy Glastonbury looks in a Barber jacket and hunter boots, even decades on we are still talking about these women. And it's not really about what they wore specifically, but it's really how they wore it, and their personal style has really created this ripple effect in the fashion industry, which has very much surpassed just the cultural moment of when they wore the look or when they were even alive. And it's just so interesting how they just still continue to shape and influence fashion trends even after such a long time. But what I find really interesting as well is that even with Gen Z's kind of ongoing obsession with these cultural figures from the past and these style icons from the past, there also is this new class of internet fashion it girls, which are equally as influential and also as equally cool. So of course I'm thinking about people like Gabriette or Iris Law, Amelia Gray, or even people like Alex Consani or Olivia O'Neill and Ruby Lynn. In a way, these women have truly turned their personal style into kind of a art in itself, and in some ways they've built an entire aesthetic and an entire universe around themselves, yet it still feels so effortless, like they're not even trying. And it really is this style and this vibe that has truly captured the attention of millions of people, and again, the entire fashion zeitgeist. And while of course there are so many influencers and curated digital creators on Instagram or social media who still gain a lot of likes and a lot of attention for their maximalist and also really stylish outfits, there is just something so different about a true it girl. And I think it's because they really capture the now, but in a really effortless and also in a timeless way as well. And isn't that truly the dream, to have your personal style be so distinctive that it truly does feel effortless and timeless, but also so unique as well? Well, personally, I do think it is definitely the dream to have an effortlessly cool style. So I think if you look at what all of these it girls have in common, so the it girls from the past, but also the it girls from today, you can start to dissect and take away some key things that we can apply to our own style. So what I've done is broken down 5 key points that I think all of these it girls have in common, and I think we can definitely take these away and apply them to our own style and our own wardrobe. So the first one, and the first thing that I've kind of noticed that all of these figures have in common, is that they are all multifaceted. And what I mean by that is that they all don't just have one layer to them. They aren't just a model or just a writer or just an actress or just one anything. They all really do have multiple layers, and you kind of don't know which part of their personality you're gonna get, and that kind of adds to their mystique and their allure in a way. The second thing that I think that all of these figures do really well is the mix of the high and the low vibe styling. And I mean basically mixing kind of thrifted pieces or secondhand pieces with more expensive or designer or new items. And I do think when done well and when done in the right way, this can definitely create a more effortless vibe and a more casual vibe, but in a really cool way. So it's not just always having new, really out there designer pieces, but it's also not having a completely second-hand and old wardrobe. It's really mixing the high and the low well. And I do really think when you get this high-low styling right, it really does give this effortless vibe and this illusion of not trying that hard. And this leads me on to my third point, and the third thing that I think all of these it girls have in common, and it is that they all have this effortless or not trying so hard kind of vibe. And I think they're able to achieve this by having their signatures. So they have those staple pieces or the staple kind of rough uniform or color palette that they always go to. And I do think that by creating these signatures, their outfits and their overall style feels more created rather than calculated. And that just gives an overall cool vibe in my opinion. And then another thing that I noticed that all of these it girls have in common is the way that they blend masculine and feminine styling. And this could literally be as simple as incorporating a shirt or a blazer or even baggy jeans into their outfits. And I think by doing this, they kind of create a bit more of a balance in their outfits, and there's this level of ease and comfort, which again just makes it so effortless and so chic in a way. And I do think, again, when done in the right way, this can really allow someone, or it makes them appear like they're really comfortable in their own skin and what they're wearing, because there is this balance and comfortableness in their outfits. So I do think that that is another key takeaway when looking at what all of these it girls have in common. And then the fifth thing that I think all of these it girls have in common, and I know I said that I only had 5 points on this list, list, but I'm looking and I do in fact have 6. So the second to last and 5th thing that all of these it girls have in common is kind of their undoneness, and it's more when looking at all of these it girls, I do think there's this element of not overthinking the styling and not overdoing it as well. And like I said, I think it manifests in these it girls kind of being fresh faced or not feeling like they have to pile anything on in terms of clothing, accessories or makeup, and the things that they do use and do incorporate into their styling are very intentional, and that kind of makes them their signatures as well in a way. So I do think that there is this takeaway of not overthinking it, not overdoing it, and that kind of gives a effortless kind of undone and cool chic vibe in a way. And then the final thing that I have on my list that I think all of these it girls have in common is that they all give Muse energy, and often this does mean that they're paired with a very cool kind of creative partner, but the key and the difference is that they aren't defined by them. And again, like I said right at the start of this video, the reason that all these it girls are it girls and the reason that they're able to give off Muse energy isn't from what they're wearing, but it's more how they're wearing it. And it truly just is this perfect mix of all the 5 points or 6 points that I've mentioned that makes them all it girls, but really it comes down to the fact that they're not chasing being an it girl, they just are it. And also it's like what I said at the start, that it's not necessarily what they're wearing, but it's really how they're wearing it. So to finalize this video, how can we bring some of this into our own wardrobes and own style? Well, the good news with this is that there really isn't a shopping list or a must-have list of certain pieces. It's more about stripping things back and really tuning in. So building signatures that feel personal to you, the clothes that you wear over and over, and the silhouettes that really make you feel the most comfortable in your skin. And more than anything, it is about an attitude and it is about confidence. And as Jane Birkin said herself, it's not style without confidence. So I feel like that is the perfect place to wrap up this video, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. Obviously it is just a light-hearted take on personal style, but I do think it's really interesting to look at all these fashion it girls and dissect why they do just continue to have such a grip on the fashion zeitgeist. And it's something that I will continue to watch, and I will continue to get inspiration from all of these style icons. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. As always, definitely leave a comment, like and subscribe if you want to, and until the next one, I hope you have a great day. Bye.